The thrilling story begins by showing a great king of Persia named Sultan. The king increased the size of his army and brought all the neighboring kingdoms under his control. Along with this, he had a vision, to eliminate all his enemies and conquer the entire earth. The king had 2 sons and a brother named Nazam. For every matter, the king would take his brother along and make decisions after consulting him. One day, as usual, they were heading to a place where many weapons were being made. They had learned that this empire was planning to rebel against them. So the king set out with his companions to eliminate these rebels. All the soldiers were present there and were advancing slowly. Suddenly, in a marketplace area, a child appeared in front of them, causing the soldiers on horseback to fall down. Because of this, the soldier caught the child and started beating him badly, blaming him for the chaos. At that moment, another brave companion of the child came rushing in. He rescued his friend from the soldier and both started running away. All the soldiers chased the 2 children but couldn't catch them at first. Eventually, however, they were captured and presented before the king. When the king heard the whole story, he was shocked. How could this boy be so brave? So the king asked the brave girl, whose name was Destin, about her mother and father. Then Destin became very sad and said, "I have no one in this world, I am all alone." Hearing this, the king became emotional. So he offered Destin to become his 3rd son because Destin was very brave and worthy of being a king. Destin accepted this, and the king made her his 3rd son. Gradually, 15 to 20 years passed. Destin grew up to be very strong and brave and was planning to expand the empire along with her elder brothers. The Persian king gave his 3 sons full freedom to do anything to expand their empire. Recently, they learned about the neighboring Pasai Empire where many weapons were being manufactured. Their enemies could use these weapons against them. Therefore, the 3 of them had to attack the empire and stop the protection of those weapons. Destin said, "I will go there and eliminate all of them." But her eldest brother explained, "You are still too young, so we can't give you such a big responsibility." The eldest brother, whose name was Dunk, decided to send their slightly younger brother, Neo. Destin felt a bit upset because she wanted to prove her capability, how brave she was and that she could handle everything on her own. But after the eldest brother's decision, it was finalized that Neo would go to that place. However, Destin was not one to accept this easily. She set out with her childhood friend inside the empire to launch the first attack and eliminate everyone there. Following them, Neo and Dunk also arrived with their full army to attack the empire. But Destin and her companion had already infiltrated inside the palace. Here, we see a princess of the other large empire named Tamina. Tamina had also recently learned that the outside empire was coming to attack them. But she couldn't understand why all this was happening. She tried her best to fight with her remaining soldiers, but when she saw the massive number of Dunk and Neo soldiers, she was completely shocked. Princess Tamina then made a strange prayer in front of her goddess. She took out a dagger, which was sacred. She handed the dagger to a soldier and said, "This must not fall into anyone's hands, so take it far away." Although the soldier started to leave with it, suddenly Destin attacked him because the weapon was shining very brightly, catching Destin's attention. She killed the soldier and took the weapon. After that, the entire army entered the palace and captured Princess Tamina. Dunk and Neo soldiers moved forward to kill Tamina and asked her, "Why did you promote weapons protection inside your empire?" Then Tamina clearly said, "I have no idea about this. I never gave permission for this, and if this is happening, then you all are mistaken." Now, no one was sure about these things, so they stopped. But suddenly, Dunk said to Princess Tamina, "If you marry me, then all these problems will be forgiven. You can become a part of my family, and no one will touch you." But Princess Tamina refused and said, "I would rather die than marry a stranger like this." Just then, Destin arrived at the place, and Princess Tamina saw the same magical dagger with him. Her mind changed, and she said, "I agree to marry." Dunk was very happy because he had started liking Tamina. Slowly, after returning to their empire, preparations for the wedding began. But when the king found out about all this, he became very angry at Dunk because he had taken all these decisions without asking and also attacked the other empire. Dunk became very angry at his father, wondering how he could scold him like this. So Dunk promised his father, "I won't show my face to you until I prove that Princess Tamina is guilty." Dunk left immediately. Destin went to his brother Dunk, and they talked to each other. Dunk told Destin, "I love my father very much." Dunk had also designed a very fine garment for his father, which he gave to Destin to deliver. Dunk told Destin to also tell the king that he was going to marry Tamina. Then Dunk left, and Destin took the garment to the king. Destin explained everything, how their eldest son was marrying Tamina and that he had sent this garment as a gift for the king. The king wore the garment very well and was very happy. But Tamina did not look happy, she was thinking about what she was doing. Suddenly, strange things started coming out of the garment. The king's body began to burn intensely. The situation worsened so much that the king's entire skin started burning and peeling off, and he fainted. It turned out that the garment contained a strange poison that affected the king, and soon he suffered and died right there. All the villagers and soldiers suddenly became furious, and they started blaming Destin for killing the king. Although it was Dunk who gave the garment to Destin to deliver to the king, everyone believed that Destin was behind the king's death. They all chased Destin, trying to kill her. At that moment, Princess Tamina told Destin, "We have to escape from here, or no one will survive." So both quickly mounted their horses and rode far away into the forest. Then it was revealed that the entire plan was Dunk's. Dunk had killed his father to take his position and used Destin as a pawn to divert suspicion onto her. Destin and Tamina escaped and reached a safe place, where they started planning what to do next. Destin kept telling Tamina, "I didn't kill my father. It was that strange garment, and my brother Dunk made me deliver it. So, Dunk is the one behind all this." Tamina noticed that Destin still had her powerful weapon with her. So, she decided to try to take the weapon from him. Destin had decided to go to his father's brother, Nazam, because only he could help them in all this. Just as Destin was about to mount his horse, Princess Tamina attacked him and tried to snatch his weapon. Destin grabbed the weapon, but by mistake, his hand touched the weapon, and suddenly a bright light appeared. Everything stopped abruptly, and it seemed like time was moving backward. Tamina returned to the exact position where she had been standing before. It became clear that this weapon could rewind time by a few minutes. Destin asked Tamina, "Why did you try to take the weapon from me?" Tamina said, "I haven't done that yet." Then Tamina realized that Destin had already used the powerful weapon. She became very angry because to use the weapon again, magical sand was needed. Only with that sand could the weapon be used again. In other words, the weapon could only be used once at a time to travel back in time. When Destin found out about this, he became very angry. He thought, if I use this weapon, I can prove my innocence, that I did not kill my father. So he started heading toward his father's brother, Nazam. However, Princess Tamina warned him, "This path is not safe. You may encounter dangerous bandits who will rob you of everything." But Destin didn't care about these warnings and set off on the path quickly. Tamina had no choice but to accompany him. Halfway through the journey, she suddenly fainted from extreme thirst. But actually, Tamina was pretending. It was a trick to trap Destin. As Destin came closer to check on her, she took out a piece of bone and hit Destin on the head, knocking him unconscious. Tamina then took her weapon and quickly ran far away. Destin lay unconscious for some time. When he opened his eyes, strange people surrounded him. They had a leader who said, "You are now in our captivity. If you want to survive, give us your valuables, and we will let you go." Destin said, "A princess went this way, and she is very beautiful. She could be useful to you." The leader sent all his soldiers to capture the princess. Soon, the soldiers caught Tamina, and Destin managed to take the time-rewinding dagger from her. The leader imprisoned Tamina, but surprisingly, they also captured Destin. Both of them were taken quickly to a small tribe where all these soldiers lived. Destin was held captive, but Tamina couldn't stay imprisoned like that. While being treated like a servant, she opened the cage of many ostriches. The ostriches scattered everywhere, causing chaos and destruction. A large crowd gathered, and Tamina and Destin took advantage of the distraction to escape from the place immediately. No matter what, Destin wanted to reach his father's brother Nazam. Without wasting time, he set off toward that place. After a long journey, Destin finally reached the place. Destin reached the place where his father's brother, Nazam, lived. He left Tamina there and went to meet Nazam. Destin said to Nazam, "Do you trust me or not? I did not kill my father. It was all done by Dunk, who also gave me that poisonous cloth." Nazam then trusted Destin and said, "I already knew you didn't do this." Destin showed his uncle Nazam the dangerous dagger that could rewind time. But when he opened it, he realized that it only had the cover. Tamina had stolen the actual dagger from him. While talking, Destin noticed that Nazam's hands were burnt, and they looked exactly like the burns his father got when he wore the poisonous cloth that caused his body to burn. This made Destin suspect that Nazam himself had poisoned the cloth, causing his hands to burn so badly. Nazam realized that Destin might have discovered the whole truth. So he ordered his soldiers to attack Destin. All the soldiers came together and attacked Destin, beating him badly. But Destin didn't stay silent. He fought back to protect himself. Some soldiers wanted to kill Destin because they believed he was the king's murderer, but Destin kept explaining, "I did not do this. I will expose my father's killer and return." After that, Destin escaped safely and ran far away. Nazam traveled directly to the king's eldest son, Dunk. He lied to Dunk, saying, Destin came to kill me, and he might try to kill you too. So we need to kill Destin quickly and take the magical sword from him to use it. Dunk was suspicious and didn't fully trust Nazam, so he didn't think much about it. But Nazam urgently needed to find Destin, so he went to seek help from a very dangerous gangster. He gave the gangster money and told him, I want Destin and the magical dagger with him as soon as possible. After receiving the money, the gangster set out with a large army. He sent soldiers everywhere to find Destin and the princess traveling with him. Meanwhile, Tamina was advising Destin, we need to leave from here because the magical dagger's protection is very important. Destin asked her, why are you protecting this sword so much? Tamina told him, you know well that this dagger can take us back to the past, and Nazam wants it desperately. Tamina explained, Nazam wants to get this dagger so that he can go back to the past, to the time when your father was being crowned king. Actually, Nazam wants to kill your father and become the king himself first. That's why he is trying everything possible to get this dagger. No matter what happens, I will not let Nazam take this dagger, and I will place it safely where no one can take it. Destin understood everything and promised Tamina that he would stand with her. As they moved forward, suddenly, the leader of that tribe and his men surrounded them. The leader was very angry at Destin and Tamina because many of his ostriches had escaped due to them, causing a big loss. Now he wondered who would pay for that loss. At that moment, far away, the gangster appeared with many soldiers moving toward them, but the tribe leader did not know about this yet. The leader captured Destin and Tamina as prisoners, planning to make them his slaves and demand money from them. It was night, and everyone else was asleep. The gangster wanted to kill Destin and take the dagger, so he sent his deadly snakes to attack them. These snakes moved underground and could kill anyone by biting them instantly. One of the leader's men saw a snake and woke up. The snake tried to bite him, but Destin threw the glowing dagger at the snake, burning it to death. All the soldiers woke up and were attacked by the snakes. But Destin fought the snakes alone and killed them one by one. The leader and his men were shocked. Even though Destin was their prisoner, he protected their lives by killing the snakes. After all the snakes were dead, the leader told Destin and Tamina, you both are free now. You can go wherever you want because you saved my life. So Destin and Tamina started moving toward the mountain where they could hide the magical dagger safely. The leader and his soldiers accompanied them partway up the mountain. After a while, the leader said, you both go ahead from here. But Tamina came forward and said, we cannot proceed alone from here. We will need you and your soldiers. The leader replied, I have more important matters to attend to. Tamina then tried to convince him where we are going. There was a lot of money and gold stored there. Tamina said to the leader, if you want to come with us, I can get it for you. The leader and his soldiers became greedy and agreed to come along. They all kept moving towards the mountain peak. But at that place, the king's middle son, named Neo, arrived with his army. He was angry at his brother Destin because he believed Destin had killed the king. Destin told Tamina and the others to move ahead so he could talk to his brother Neo. He kept explaining to Neo that he had not killed their father, it was actually Nazam who wanted to seize the throne. After a long time, Neo understood the truth. But behind their backs, the gangster and his men attacked Neo's army and even injured and knocked Neo unconscious. Destin was with Tamina inside a cave, so he did not know about this. However, it was clear that the gangster and his men had surrounded them. Destin and Tamina reached the spot where the magical dagger could be hidden. As Tamina went to hide it, suddenly the gangster's men arrived and attacked them. They severely injured Tamina, and she fainted. Then, one of the gangster's snakes came near Tamina and swallowed the dagger. Destin was beaten badly by the soldiers and thrown outside. It looked like Destin's life was over, but at that moment, his injured brother Neo regained consciousness. Neo found a sharp spear nearby and stabbed the gangster in the stomach, killing him on the spot. However, Neo was also in very bad condition and was taking his last breaths. In his final words, he told Destin, I trust you. Please save our kingdom from falling into the wrong hands. Right after that, Neo died. Destin went directly to Tamina, who was very sad because the magical dagger had been swallowed by the snake and was now with the enemy. This meant they had to find the dagger at any cost, or everything would change. It was shown that someone had cut open the snake's belly and taken out the dagger, then directly gave it to Nazam. Now, Nazam had the magical dagger and would surely use it to claim the throne. Destin and Tamina asked the tribe leader for help to fight Nazam, because under any circumstances, they had to get the magical dagger back. At first, the leader did not agree to help, but one of his black soldiers convinced him. After that, they all, along with Destin and Tamina, moved towards Nazam's kingdom. Nazam had the magical dagger but did not have the magical sand that powered it. So he ordered his men to dig and find the sand, but despite hours of hard work, they couldn't find it, it seemed like it was not meant to be. The leader and his men had already reached the kingdom. The black soldier told the leader, "I will go and get that dagger myself. Just give me permission." While the leader and others were distracted, the black soldier sneaked inside. But right in front of him appeared a powerful soldier from the gangster's side. A fierce fight broke out. Though the black soldier was badly injured and poisoned during the fight, he managed to defeat the enemy and got hold of the dagger. He threw the dagger outside, where the leader caught it. Soon, Nazam arrived and realized that his magical dagger was missing. Suspecting Destin, he ordered everyone to capture Destin alive at any cost. Destin, now wearing a mask, infiltrated the kingdom and went directly to his elder brother Dunk. Destin placed the dagger on Dunk's street and pleaded, "Why don't you trust me? It was Nazam who killed our father." But Dunk refused to believe him and said, "You can't confuse me with these worthless words." Destin desperately wanted to convince his brother he was innocent, so he said, "I don't want to kill you, but to prove my loyalty, I am ready to give up my life." He stabbed himself with the dagger, saying, "After I die, press the button on this dagger. Then you will realize I was telling the truth." Destin actually stabbed himself. At that moment, Nazam arrived, ordering Dunk not to fix Destin. But Dunk stopped Nazam and said, "Don't say anything now." Dunk pressed the button on the dagger, and time rewound a few minutes back to the moment when Destin was about to stab himself. Dunk stopped his brother and said, "I fully trust you. You couldn't have killed our father, it was all Nazam's doing." Angered, Nazam suddenly stabbed Dunk's throat from behind. Nazam took the dagger and began to severely attack Destin. Destin somehow escaped from there and saved his life with Tamina. The gangster who had been supposedly killed earlier actually wasn't dead, he was just faking it. Now, he attacked Destin again. Destin and Tamina fought him together, but the gangster tried to kill Destin using his poisonous snakes. Fortunately, Tamina came from behind, grabbed one of the snakes, and made it bite the gangster in the eye. The poison spread quickly, and the gangster was killed by his own snakes. He fell down. Destin and Tamina had now reached a place where the ground itself was collapsing. This was the very spot where the magical dagger could be sealed away forever. Nazam had found out about this magical pit where the dagger could be buried, and if inserted there, the dagger could send time back as far as one wanted. So, he started heading towards that place. Nazam wounded Destin and tried to push him down into the lava below. He also pushed Tamina down, but Destin managed to hold Tamina's hand and save her. Now Nazam directly moved towards the place where he could reverse time. Tamina urged Destin, "Let go of my hand. You must stop Nazam at any cost. That is more important right now than saving me. If he succeeds, no one can save your kingdom." Destin didn't want to do this, but he had no choice. He let go of Tamina's hand and climbed up to confront Nazam. By then, Nazam had already inserted the magical dagger into the sand of that place, activating the time reversal process. Destin quickly took out the dagger, stopping time from going backward. Time returned to normal. However, this caused a huge disturbance, a massive storm formed, and both Nazam and Destin got caught in it. The storm transported them to a completely different timeline. When Destin opened his eyes, he was holding the magical dagger and had arrived at the time when everything was just beginning. That was when his entire family was still alive, and they were on their way to attack Princess Tamina's kingdom. The good thing was, Destin now knew all possible future events. He immediately went to his father and brother Dunk and told them everything, how Nazam was going to betray them, and that Princess Tamina was innocent in all this. Nazam was standing there, listening to everything, and he realized that he was about to be caught. So, he immediately went to kill Destin. But Dunk stopped him and badly wounded Nazam, ultimately ending him right there. This confirmed to everyone that Destin was telling the truth all along. After knowing the full truth, Dunk went to Princess Tamina and apologized for the misunderstanding. Now everything had returned to normal. Dunk, who had initially planned to marry Princess Tamina himself, instead asked for her hand in marriage on behalf of his younger brother Destin. Princess Tamina agreed, and shortly after, Destin and Tamina got married. Together, they placed the magical dagger in a safe place where no one could misuse it again. They both lived a happy life, and the kingdom was in good hands. And with that, our adventurous story comes to an end.